Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
All right, Zion, the zebra is ready for us to start. Sound levels are check, water's check. Your boy is basically healthy now. I'm almost back up to 100%. I think I'm like 88%, so you guys don't have to hear me bitch and moan about being sick anymore. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited because we have an amazing Minisode to cover today. And I need to do the traditional welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 15 on the More Than Fitness podcast. And today is actually not a fitness question, and it is asked by Anonymous. And they say, I'm in a comfortable job right now, but I hate it and want to pursue something I'm more passionate about, but the pay is less and the risk is higher. What do I do? Okay, first, a disclaimer. I don't know what the fuck you should do. This is not obviously my area of expertise. I'm not some, entrepreneur who's been in the game for 20 years or something that can give you amazing advice that's going to fix all of your problems. However, I do think that this is an area that I have spent a lot of time personally delving into because I do work for myself, and this is kind of the question that I kept asking myself whenever I was going into college and trying to figure out my career path and everything like that, because there's obviously tons of other quote unquote safer options out there that could be more stable, have more benefits, things like that. So I have done quite a bit of research on this and soul searching and whatever the hell you want to call it. But I do think that the advice that I could give may help you. At least one of the things could one tip here or there could help you out. So with that being said, I think the first thing that you need to do, if you're in a comfortable job right now, the pay is okay, but there's something that you're more passionate about, but the pay is less and the risk is higher. First, you need to get out your bullshit detector and decide if this is really what you want to do. Because this is obviously a big life decision, but I think the main thing that I want you to think about is to be careful about making something you love your source of income, right? Because that's super, super important to remember, because you don't want to taint something that you love already on a daily basis. You love it for the sake of the expression or the art or the creativity, or whatever, the way it makes you feel. But whenever you attach a need to make money from this, that's whenever, the game changes a little bit, the dynamic changes, right? Then it becomes less of art, and then it becomes more of, if I don't stop doing this, or if I don't produce better work, then I could not eat tomorrow or something. You know what I'm saying? You become desperate to just make money, and then it tarnishes the whole reason that you love this thing in the first place. So don't try and make your job your whole life, right? Don't expect your job to fulfill your emotional needs just because you're passionate about it. You think that, I'm gonna get a career from this. Like I'm gonna be. The saying, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I think that is just complete bullshit. I think it's ridiculous, because there is hardly any career that doesn't come with baggage, right? Like if you wanted to become a fitness coach like me or something, or a personal trainer, it's like my whole day is not just spent working one-on-one with clients, right? Of course, that's part of it. But you also don't see everything behind the scenes, which is marketing. So this stuff that I'm doing right now, the technology aspect of it, you have the writing aspect of it, you have the accounting, taxes, all of that stuff that you have to worry about, business expenses, you have to worry about that. The sales aspect of it, actually getting people into your business. There's so many different things that you don't realize until you're actually in it, that you're like, this isn't just coaching people, or this isn't just writing on a blog or something like that. Like that, there's way more that goes into it. So you have to be mindful of that whenever making your decision. For me personally, I've realized that I'm not super passionate about coaching. Actually, the actual making new training programs, the emailing back and forth, like, don't get me wrong, I get fulfillment from it, but as I've done it for so long, it's not what really brings the fire out in me. And I've realized what that is connection with people. So I do love connecting with my clients and helping them see results and things like that. But I also love the creation part of it. So the creativity side of things. And I've realized that honestly, over time, what coaching has done for me is it's been my stable source of income, and I make money so that I'm able to create more. You see what I'm saying? Because if I didn't make any money, I wouldn't be able to just create these podcasts or create stuff on my blog or on my Instagram or to my newsletter. I wouldn't be able to do all of these things that I really get joy from, because those things don't directly make me money. But I get the most enjoyment from doing those things. I love reading. I love writing. I love thinking. I love creating. I love connecting with people and sharing ideas and expressing them. And so yeah, I enjoy coaching. Don't get me wrong. However, oftentimes I find that coaching is my vehicle to make money so that I can actually create more and do what I really enjoy doing. So think about that. Next is, how sensitive are you to rejection and failure? Because this is something that you're going to have to take a big ego check, because if you're not able to take something precious like this thing that you love so much and you're passionate about, and you may even think that you're good at it, and then you put that out to the world, you have to be okay with people judging it. And if you're good, that's great, because there's going to be people that love it. But even then, like, even the most talented people get hated on, right? So you have to be able to take that rejection and be able to, especially in the beginning stages, because you may be passionate about this thing, but that doesn't mean that you're good at it, right? Like, you might love fitness or something, but just because you love fitness and you love going to the gym and you're like a people person, that doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach automatically, right? Like, so that's something that you have to be okay with. You have to be okay with letting other people's opinions of you, good or bad, because if you let too much good in, then your ego gets too big. But then if you let too much bad in, then you just feel like a failure, and then it prevents you from actually carrying on and improving. So you have to be really strong internally to be able to cope with those rejections and failures and move on in spite of those things. So yeah, do that. Also, a good indicator of if this is something that you should do professionally is, has anyone ever asked you to do this for them or to create this one thing? The whole reason I got into coaching the reason I initiated coaching at the time that I did was because I had a friend who came up to me and was like, "Hey, will you help me out with my training and nutrition plan?" Basically, that's what he said. And he said he would pay me for it. And I was like, well, I've been thinking about getting into this, so this is a better time than ever to get into it. So I was like, all right, sure. And then that's how the snowball got started. And so yeah, if anyone has ever asked you to do this, or asked if you've ever thought about going into it or whatever, like, that's usually a pretty good sign that, okay, there might be something there. You might have some type of skill set that other people would be interested in. Next would be to reach out to at least 2 to 5 people who are doing exactly what you want to do. You can email them, DM them, whatever, but get their opinions. Ask them the pros and cons, because you don't just want to hear the great stuff about it. Ask them about the cons as well. This is also really important. Whenever you whenever you ask these questions to these people, don't take their advice for face value, because your individual experience and situation is very nuanced, and it's very contextual to you, right? There's so many things that this stranger that you emailed, that you look up to, this role model, that they don't know about you. They're only giving you their best guess. So you can take their advice, and put it through your own filter and be like, okay, what can I take out of this that's good, and what can I discard that's not so good or that is not useful, right? So it's just, these are things to consider, but don't take them, oh, this person that I look up to says I should just go for it. For a good example, Jordan Syatt, many of you may know him. He's a famous coach and puts out amazing content on Instagram. And he actually told me not to get my RD credential, my registered dietitian credential. He just said I didn't need it, which is true. He is right. I don't need my RD credential to become an online coach, right? You don't need that. And I took his advice. I was like, okay, he's saying this. And then I asked a few other people and they said I should get it. And to me, I saw that there was way more, doing a cost benefit analysis, there was way more pros to getting it than cons. And so I love Jordan. We're friends today. But I didn't take his advice because I had to put it through my own filter and decide if that was exactly what was right for me. And you're never going to know, no one else is going to know what the right answer is except for you, in your gut, in your heart. Like that's what you have to follow most, because everyone else is just their best guess. Okay, and those are all the things that you need to do first to decide if this is really what you want to do. After you've decided that it's what you want to do, so let's say, okay, I'm going to go forward with this thing, I'm going to actually do it, what's next? I think what's next, so there's three things to consider whenever you're making life-size decisions. First is what makes you happy. So is this going to make you happy? And remember, keep this in mind with what I said earlier about making sure that you don't let this tarnish something you love. This is something that you have to consider. Second is what's smart, meaning what's good long-term? Is there a long-term play in this? For online coaching, like technology is pretty booming right now, and I'm pretty sure people are always going to want to eat healthier and look better, right? And so I think as long as the internet is available and people are humans, I think that I'm going to be good to go there. However, obviously, this isn't necessarily what your career that you're looking to do, but whatever it is, make sure that it's a good long-term play. Like if you're wanting to become a truck driver or something, that's something that could be reduced by artificial intelligence later on down the road due to smart cars and things like that, maybe it's something you should consider something different. So consider all of the future ideas and what things are going to be coming into play that could potentially put you out of business later on down the road. That's something to consider as well. Okay, so what makes you happy? What's smart? And then also what's useful to others. That's the biggest thing. So especially if you're trying to do your own thing, start your own business, make your own career, you have to be useful. Like, why do people need you? Why should people pay you for anything? Right? And you do that because you're useful. You guys watch this because you think it's useful. You get some type of value out of it. So those are the three things to consider. What makes you happy? What's smart, good long-term play, and what's useful to others. If you can consider those three things whenever making this decision and it checks all those boxes, then it might be a good idea. Next would be to start saving money now with the job that you have. I do not ever condone just dropping everything and diving headfirst into this random business plan that you have, especially with no experience or anything like that. It's just not a good idea at all. And it's not necessary either. One thing as a business owner, if you're going to do this, you have to be able to mitigate the amount of risk that you take. And the best way to do that is to calculate your expenses now, figure out everything that you need to live on a monthly basis, figure out what that number is. And then I would expect at least, and this is going to be nuanced, of course, depending on what you're trying to do. Like if you're going to go to another career that's already like stable, has benefits, you're just switching careers, you may not have to worry about this as much because you're still going to be able to pay for things, but also you have to consider the pay gap in between the job you're at now and the job you want to go to. But if you're wanting to jump ship and do something completely on your own and start from scratch, this is where you have to expect at least 6 to 12 months of zero income. if you plan on starting something new. So calculate your expenses and have 6 to 12 months saved up. And again, I encourage you to do this little side hustle or start this thing that you want to do on the side of this job that you already have in your after hours. Or hell, if you're at work and it's something online that you want to do and there's downtime in between your job, because I know some of you, you're not working for 8 hours continuously, right? I'm sure there's some downtime in the career you're at now. Take advantage of that downtime. Don't watch YouTube or these videos or whatever. Instead, take advantage and learn about your craft that you're wanting to get better in. Learn about money, learn about what you need to do to take these next steps and get started on that while you're at this job. But yeah, I would make sure that you save up as much money as you can now so that in the future, whenever you do want to make this switch, you at least have a little bit of a runway where you're like, okay, I'm going to switch and try and do this full time. I'm already making some money from this little side hustle that I'm doing, but I want to make the transition of this full-time job to this. You're going to have at least a little runway with some money in the bank so that you're not super stressed out and desperate for money. And another thing that this does is this also keeps you patient. Whenever you have money in the bank, whenever you have things saved up, you're not desperate to find your next dollar. And whenever people get this short-term mindset of, oh, I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to make money, that's whenever they make short-term decisions that could ruin their reputation, ruin their brand. They're gypping people out of money. They're just looking people as numbers. It's just short-term play. They're looking for passive incomes. They're trying to sell ebooks. They're trying to, do Facebook ads or something, they're looking for that quick fix to find their next dollar instead of building the foundation that they need to build for long-term success. That's something that you need to consider as well. Okay. And the last thing I want you to do is to help just one person. Whenever you're starting out, don't think of, oh, I want to do this startup. I want to make it this, this, and this. I have this big building, have 25 employees. I want to do this. Or if you're a coach, say you want to, I want to start a YouTube channel, have my Instagram, have podcasts that do this, this, this. I want to coach 40 people at a time. It's like, start by helping just one person and then build up from there. This lays the foundation. And this also gives you quick time feedback. Like you're trying to help somebody with training and nutrition. Okay, find a friend and help them out with their goals. You could do this for free or do it for like $20 or something for a month. It's like start with one person and this is the difference between version 1 and version infinity. Version infinity is Google over here. Version 1 is this person needs to find shoes. Where can they find shoes? You tell them where to find shoes. You give them that recommendation. That's the beginning part. That's where you need to start. And then you can get quick feedback on okay, what'd you do good? What could you change? What could you make different next time so that you can improve upon this? And then you just build that up slowly over time and make sure that you're aiming for good enough and not perfection. Because if you're trying to be perfect, especially in the beginning stages when you suck anyway, it's like you're only going to slow yourself down and you're gonna put out half-ass work anyway that you're going to be ashamed of in a year's time anyway. So I just go for speed instead. Make sure that you're just putting stuff out, helping people as much as you can, and don't worry about making everything perfect and efficient. So yeah, I think that's going to be my best advice, and I hope that is helpful for some of you who are considering doing this. If you have more questions about this, please let me know. If you would like to get your question asked on the Minisode, there's a link in the description. You can click it and fill out the Google form, and I would be happy to answer your question on this Minisode series. As always, thank you so much for listening and watching. I'm out.